Thank you, Oleg. Thank you for the initiative to present this book here. It all started with a call by Igor Gavrilov, who is the Secretary General of PanEuropa Ukraine. Well, it was not a call, it was a WhatsApp message, and he wrote, there is a friend of mine, I just had a meeting with him, he's doing interesting things, and he's coming to Vienna next week, so if you have time, meet him. And this guy was Oleg, so we met. And since that time, we cooperate. I mean, PanEuropa is an organization, or the oldest organization for the unification of Europe. Unification of Europe means this is also a peace initiative, because the idea of the European unification was to overcome the wars between inter-European countries. And you can only live in peace when you have a peaceful neighbor. Europe is a continent where many countries had colonies all over the world. But Europe went through a process of decolonization, sometimes very bloody, but finally all the countries in Europe had to accept that this time is over. And now we unify this continent, but we still know that we have another part in this Eurasian continent, let's call it that way, which still is a colonial country. And this is Russia, or the Russian Federation, or however you call it. And I remember, well, let's go back a little bit in the history. For a long time we had a president whose name was Otto von Habsburg. He was also, I say, he was my geopolitical teacher. I learned a lot of him. And one of the main messages from his side was, we still have a country which has colonies, and this country is Russia. And the process of decolonization will also come for Russia one day. Nobody in Europe accepted it. I'll give you an example of one of his initiatives in the European Parliament. In the time of the Cold War, in the time of the Soviet Union, so this was the so-called Baltic Report, where his idea was that the European countries would bring the case of the Baltic nations to the decolonization committee in the UN, which they did not do it, but the report was made by the So it's just natural that PanEuropa somehow in this tradition of Otto von Habsburg, but also in the idea of what we are standing for, supports this idea of free nations in what is now the Russian Federation. The point is that this is a part of our world which is not very well known here, not only in Austria, but also in the rest of the European countries. I mean, there are some people my age, we all read in our youth Karl May, and therefore we know what we do, and the Apaches and the Sioux and whatever they were called, the native people in the United States of America are, but nobody knows about Bashkortostan or Tatarstan or Kalmykia or whatever, but so many, I don't know all the people there, to be honest. Nobody knows about that, because what we learned at school was, there is Europe. Yes, there was in history once the Habsburg Empire, and there are some countries which are now occupied by Moscow. So we knew that there was something like Hungary and Yugoslavia, and there were some other small states, yes, and there was Czechoslovakia and Poland, but the rest was the Soviet Union. Ukraine, for example, was part of the Soviet Union.
And part of Russia.
And part of Russia, yeah, also historical part of it. But nobody was talking about that, and therefore I think such books are very important to give information about this region in the world, because the future of Europe is also decided on the borders or over the borders, because if we have a Yugoslav scenario over there, then everybody is scared to have such a scenario, to be honest, yeah? And they have nukes. This is one of the arguments. But what our job is to inform people and also to bring into politics this idea that we have to develop scenarios for a development for more freedom and liberty for this nation in now Russia.
Great. Thanks a lot, and we'll come back.